Issues with AUX air conditioning unit fans are typically identified through the fan motor speed sensor, known as the Hall effect sensor. When the issue occurs with the indoor unit fan, the error code E4 is usually triggered in BLDC type fans. These fans can be identified as they are powered by 5 cables. However, when the problem is with the outdoor unit fan, and it is a BLDC type, error code F0 is triggered. This type of fan is powered directly from the external electronic module via 3 cables. General fan troubleshooting solutions. 1. Clean the air filter and the heat exchangers of the indoor or outdoor unit, depending on the error code. 2. Disconnect the unit from power for a few minutes. Sometimes, a simple reset can clear the error code. 3. If the fan motor is dirty, it may not rotate properly. 4. If the power cable is loose or damaged, it should be repaired or replaced. If the electrical connections are faulty, they should be cleaned or repaired. 5. If the fan does not rotate freely by hand, when the unit is powered off and without any noise, the problem may be with the fan bearings. Now, let's look at more specialized solutions for BLDC fan issues in AUX air conditioning units. A. The BLDC fan can be used in both the indoor evaporator unit and the outdoor condenser unit. B. The BLDC fan of the indoor unit uses 5 cables, because the motor coil power supply is managed inside the housing by an independent internal electronic board. C. These 5 cables are generally color-coded as follows. Red, high voltage DC power supply, approximately 300 V when the network supply is 220 V. Black, ground or common for the entire electronic board. White, power supply to the internal electronic controller of the BLDC fan, usually powered by 15 V. Yellow, signal or pulses from the main board controller to the internal BLDC motor board. Blue, signal from the BLDC motor to the main board indicating the speed and position of the BLDC motor rotor. D. You can check for the presence of voltage by energizing the board and placing the multimeter probes on the corresponding wires. Testing procedures. 1. Disconnect the unit from power and visually inspect the BLDC motor connector for poor contacts. Clean the connector and retest the unit. 2. With no power, when disconnecting the BLDC fan from the indoor unit, an initial test can be performed to check if the internal fan controller is shorted. Using a multimeter set to measure resistance in kiloohms, measure the resistance between the high voltage supply pin, red wire, and the black ground pin. The resistance should be infinite, indicating a correct result. 3. On the continuity or buzzer setting, there should be no continuity between the black wire and any of the other remaining wires. 4. If all previous tests are passed, it is recommended to check for obstructions and ensure the fan motor spins freely with it disconnected, ruling out any mechanical issues. 5. The fan motor can be removed and its casing open to check if power is reaching the motor internally. Visually inspect the internal electronic board of the BLDC motor for anomalies and check for continuity across all wires from the fan connector to the input of the motor's electronic board. 6. Verifying issues on the electronic board. Measure electrical resistance using the multimeter from the high voltage supply, red wire, to each of the outputs to the motor coils. All readings should be identical. This procedure should be carried out by placing the red probe on the fan's red wire, and the black probe on each of the internal fan board outputs, then repeat with the probes reversed. If any measurement differs, the control board might have an issue. 7. When problems are detected on the internal BLDC motor's electronic board, focus on the board's IPM controller, which can be replaced with one of the same reference. If no electronic issues are found, disconnect the electronic board from the coils and measure the electrical resistance of the 3 coils. All measurements should be equal. 8. When the error code indicates an issue with the outdoor unit motor, the electronic fan control is located on the external electronic board, not inside the motor housing, which is why the fan is powered by only 3 cables.